Fat loss isn't one giant leap. It's a series of phases. I finally lost fat when I stopped chasing quick fixes and started moving through each phase step by step in the right order. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 4 core phases that took me from overweight and frustrated to lean and healthy and free from endless dieting cycles. I'll also share what I've learned from working with over 100 men and getting them insane results. Because the truth is, most people fail not because they're lazy, but because they're doing the right things at the wrong time. I'll walk you through what you need to focus on in each phase, what not to do, and the lifestyle trade-offs that come with getting lean. Because some of my clients actually changed their goals once they saw what each level really takes. So as you watch, think about what phase you're currently in and whether your end goal will shift once you see the full picture. Phase 1, the wake-up phase. This is where you start and why it's not about willpower just yet. This is the point where most people begin. You're carrying more fat than is healthy, generally over 20% body fat. You feel tired, you avoid mirrors, and your energy feels capped, even if you're not technically obese. You know you want to change, but you're just not sure where to start. Now, the pros of this phase is an easy lifestyle, there's no restriction, and you have a flexible social life. So you can go out whenever you want and you can do whatever you want. But is that really a good trade-off for poor health, lower confidence, and a shorter lifespan? Not to mention that romance, travel, and body image will all be affected as well. Now, this is a decision you'll have to make. However, there is some positive news when you start in this phase. The transition to go into the next phase is pretty easy from a physical perspective. Now, from a mental perspective, it can be difficult to break through at the start, but once you get some momentum going, it becomes easier. The reason why it's easier for you to lose fat in this phase is because your body has more fat than it needs. So anything you really do to lose fat, your body will let go of its fat stores more easily than in later phases. And that's why going really aggressive with your diet and exercise at the start will set you up for long-term failure, because there'll come a point where you'll get burnt out, it will become too difficult to sustain, and when this happens, you'll go back to your old habits and you'll end up regaining all the fat that you lost and then some. This is what causes losing fat to be hard in this phase, is trying to change everything all at once, completely changing how you eat, adding in a ton of cardio, and this leads to cravings going through the roof, hunger goes up, and you basically end up giving up despite seeing results because you can't keep this level of intensity and discipline up. And I've seen people waste years in this yo-yo effect, up, down, and eventually they're back to where they started, and sometimes possibly even worse. So instead, start slow, that both your mind and your body can handle. And here's what to focus on in this phase. Track, don't resist. Spend a week logging your food without trying to change anything. Audit your calories. Look for one obvious daily trap. Late night snacks, sugary coffee, constant grazing. Replace it or reduce it. You want to be able to eat largely the same way as you do now, but the only difference is you want to eat at maintenance calories. Calculate this using a calorie calculator. Sometimes you'll get invited to gatherings or events, especially on the weekends. So how would you go about eating then? My advice is to cycle your calories. So what you want to do is, if you know you're going to consume more calories on the weekend, then consume less calories on the weekdays, so it averages out for the week. When it comes to calorie counting, instead of just focusing on daily calories, it's more important to focus on the average weekly calories. For example, if your daily maintenance is 2,000 calories, then your overall weekly calories will be 14,000. And as long as you're staying within this number, whether you split it like this or like this, it's all good. Just stick to a plan that works for you. And finally, set a floor, not a ceiling. Start with a few simple floor goals, like hitting 100 grams of protein a day and walking 6,000 steps a day. Setting small goals like this will make it much easier for you to stick to at the start. And if you're over 20% body fat, then it's likely you're not moving much throughout the day. So even getting in 6,000 steps, which is around 30 minutes to an hour of walking, will help you to torch fat pretty quickly. Now in this phase, most people try to leap from overweight to lean and burn out pretty fast. This phase is all about getting your mind and your body on the same page. No drastic changes, just getting momentum without misery. Phase 2 is the foundation phase. Now in this phase, you build habits that last, not ones you'll ditch in a month. This phase is where the biggest change happens, both physically and psychologically. Your body fat is now in the range of 15 to 20%. You've started seeing small wins, your clothes fit a bit better, you're feeling more in control, you're no longer just reacting, you're making intentional choices. So now you're ready to shift gears and build the core habits that drive long-term fat loss. And the only way to build a habit is by repeatedly doing something over and over again until it becomes natural and you don't have to think about it. So a way I help my clients to do this is to use a tracker. Every evening, I get them to input their weight, their calories, their protein, and their steps. This helps them to build these habits over time, and it keeps them accountable to me. If you don't have anyone to be accountable to, then it's very easy to let yourself slip. Accountability is the number one way to get things done and to see faster progress. And that's how I've been able to help so many people. So now, what actually changes in this phase? So number one is simple nutrition over fancy diets. Focus on balanced meals, protein, fiber, carbs, healthy fats. Stick with foods you like and can eat for life. In this phase, you need to tighten nutrition further. So you need to build better systems. Calories matter, but flexibility matters more. Learn calorie cycling. Eat more on social days, less on others. In this phase, you want to stay in a 15% calorie deficit and use the 80-20 rule. 80% of your diet should be for your goal and 20% for fun. This will make it more sustainable. And add more light movement. No need to crush cardio in the gym 7 days a week. Just aim for more daily steps, so around 8 to 10K, and start with 2 to 3 strength workouts per week. And here are some common mistakes to avoid. Overcomplicating the food plan, relying on motivation instead of systems, and getting impatient with the pace. Fat is going to come off a little bit slower now, so be patient with the process. Now here's what you gain in this phase. Consistency, confidence, and control. You're becoming the person who doesn't need to start over every Monday. Your habits are doing the heavy lifting for you. Moving on to the final two phases, and this is where you're going to have to make even more trade-offs. And these may affect your social life, your friendship group, and the way people start viewing you, because you're in the process of becoming a completely new person. Now, it's going to be your decision if these sacrifices and trade-offs will be worth it for you. But if you want to go to the next level with your physique and your life, then you're going to have to make these choices. So phase 3, the lifestyle phase. You look lean. Now it's time to live like it. By now, you're in what most people call good shape. You're lean in the range of 10 to 15% body fat. This is the phase most people think about when they imagine their goal body. Abs are visible, muscle definition is clear, you look lean and fit. But here's where it gets tricky. To go from leaner to fit, the cost increases. The trade-offs get more real. This is the range I got to last year. Now, to get to this point, I increased my calorie deficit to 20 to 25%, and I was consistently doing over 12,000 steps a day. I had to live this lifestyle to stay in this condition, and I believe most people don't understand the sacrifices that actually need to be made. During this phase, pretty much everything was on lock. I was going to bed 9, 10 p.m. and waking up 5, 6 a.m., so getting enough sleep at night, 7 to 8 hours. I was trying to reduce my stress as much as possible. I was strength training consistently 5 times a week, getting in over 12,000 steps a day, meal prepping for the week to make sure my nutrition was locked in and I wouldn't veer off track. Honestly, there were no time for distractions and I really couldn't afford it. If I was to go out drinking more than twice a month or go out to eat more than twice a week, then my condition would start to go. If you want to stay in this shape, then you have to live the lifestyle. There's no exception. But personally for me, the trade-offs were definitely worth it because it meant I was living a much healthier life and a life I was actually proud of. It got me away from drinking alcohol, which is poison, and binging on junk food every few days. During this time, I had never felt better and I had never looked better. My confidence was sky high. The only cons I would say is that I was consciously checking whether I could have certain foods or not. But if you want to live an overall healthier lifestyle, then you kind of need to do that. And okay, I didn't really have a social life. But if the people around you are partying, drinking, eating junk, they're lazy, then do you really want to be part of that life anyway? Or would you rather be around people who actually care about their health, are successful, and push you to do better? For me, that's an easy decision. So now, what actually changes in this phase? So your food needs structure. Restaurant meals go from 3 to 4 times a week to 1 to 2 times a week max. Junk food gets dialed way back. Social life shifts. Late nights affect sleep, which affects cravings. You might find yourself changing how and who you socialize with. Precision becomes everything. Eating, sleep, stress, and exercise all matter now. Sleep, wake-up time must be consistent. No weekend shifts. And workouts become a pillar. You're now lifting 3 to 5 times per week, not just to burn calories, but to shape your body and preserve muscle. And here's a hidden battle that's really just in your mind. You're not hungry all the time, but you're also not coasting. You have to think about food and movement. You're learning to live a lifestyle that supports your goals instead of chasing temporary motivation. And here's why most people stop in this phase. Because the cost to go further means giving up more freedom. And for many, that's a fair trade. This phase gives you the body you're proud of without having to obsess. Finally, the last phase, which is the most intense. Phase 4, the athlete lean / fitness model phase. So this is where you're sub 10% body fat and look like a fitness model. So something similar to this. During this time, I was doing a physique show. Everything revolved around fitness and was optimized for fat burning and muscle building. Nothing else mattered. Didn't have a social life, didn't go out to drink, didn't go out to eat at restaurants. Everything was tracked to a T and barely had any foods out of plan. And training and cardio pretty much every day. It was pretty intense. I ended up living like a bodybuilder, but honestly, I didn't really enjoy it because for me, it was a bit too much. And I ended up having severe body dysmorphia because when you get completely shredded, you lose a little bit of size in the process. So it comes to a point where you just feel small and flat. I much prefer being in that 10 to 15% body fat range, as you have a little bit more size, but you're still lean enough to see visible abs. And you just have a bit more flexibility. So overall, you feel better and you're not restricted. However, if you really do want to get sub 10% body fat to see how it feels, then here are the key focus points. Little to no flexibility with food, cut carbs to post-workouts only, strength training 4 to 5 times a week, 8 to 9 hours of perfect sleep is essential, track every little thing, optimize everything, and your lifestyle needs to be laser focused and may feel a bit obsessive. And the trade-offs are limited social life, tight food schedule, high planning demand, and 20 plus hours a week on health habits. So you can look amazing sub 10% body fat, but is it really worth it for your overall health and how you really feel being there? And always remember guys, fat loss isn't a quick transformation. It's a series of phases with different priorities, costs, and benefits to each step. You don't have to rush through them, pause when it feels right. Most people stop at the good phase or phase 3 and feel amazing. Only move on if life naturally pulls you. Don't force it. And remember, you need to master each phase before moving on to the next one. Take your time, build a lifestyle, sustainable results over temporary wins. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and let me know down in the comments if this has actually helped you feel less overwhelmed when it comes to losing fat. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe down to my channel and turn on the bell notifications so you're notified whenever I release a new video. And if you don't want to waste any more time when it comes to losing fat, then I recommend to watch this video next.